Racing games has always been one of the most beloved gaming genres out there, and despite not having the potential these games possess on mainly because of the touchscreen, however, well, they do actually come in waves each and every single month on mobile devices. That said, here's about 20 more to keep in mind, released just these past few months, ready to go for free for your Android and iOS devices as well. Let's go. And number one, guys, one might argue that there's a lot of bigger racing games released in the past 30 days, but to be 100% fair, this has to be one of the most legitimate free-to-play racing games I've had to play that comes from a new developer. Hard Racing over here is taking you down for 300 megabytes of space, delivers so much content and quality, it just all the way begs the question why the game is even free in the first place. This is how it really looks. It's also getting gameplay refinements and updates once every couple of days. Coming up behind that from roughly 2 weeks ago, guys, this is in case you're just wondering if this is a sole purposely served racing game dedicated video over here. Not so much of a racing game, but a takedown kind of competitive action game going by the name Overleague. Actually one of the most fun to play indie made, quite a bit cloned out of the old Vigilance games that you can find out there. Frankly, there's a few of these down the list that we're gonna mention, but this one, since it was the latest one released, it's the reason it comes in second, and this is how it really looks. Moving on to number 3 from roughly a month ago, we've got Racing Legend Funzy. Well, first of its developers is going by the name Funzy. They're called Funzy. I'm actually not sure if this company was rebranded or something, but what we have here is probably the most legitimate attempt at a fast-paced multiplayer competitive racing game on the whole platform. Game's free for some reason, has optional ads to get rewards for better cars and upgrades. It's huge in content and graphically really vivid. Check it out.
Part of strategic team race in 4v4 squad mode.
Now, sitting on the Play Store worldwide, and I've mentioned this one a couple of days ago, as of only a week ago, in case you missed it, we've got over here finally caught Rider Drift out of its pre-register state and early access phase and taking you down for about 800 megabytes of space as a fully free-to-play online and offline kart racer. It's online though mostly because the offline section comes in just tutorials and a few mods to practice. This is how the game really looks. However, it's still being fine-tuned to take care of a few major bugs that it's still dealing with. Great game, just keep it in mind for now. Moving on, we have Static Shift Racing. Guys, this is the first job of a pretty good racing mobile game developer as a online/offline open world racing driving sim. Quite a bit like the Test Drive and a Need for Speed game just mixed together. This is just a quick mention in case you missed out on the announcement last week. Game's available in its pre-register state, available worldwide though, and this is how it really looks. It's free. Coming up behind that at number 6, we have something called Jiggly 2104, guys. We do have semi-open world racing games down in the list as well, mission-based games, just for a bit of a change. This one came out way half a month ago as a fully Russian game, technically even titled something entirely else in Russian. Game is downloaded almost 50,000 times already. If you do like car customizing, some management sim abilities, racing and driving components, well, you probably should check this one as well. Moving on. Sitting on the Play Store with over 1 million downloads, we've got since only a month ago, Boss Simulator 2023. This is probably the most legitimate offline game of the year, and just an amped up version of the European Truck Simulator with over 50 million downloads by the same folks. That's not only improved in every single element to keep it fresh. Game's huge in scale, takes you down somehow only 1 gigabyte of space, and I've never ever heard of a bug with this one so far. Coming up behind that, we have Race Rocket Arena. First off, guys, this is not a new game, but I just thought it would be a good idea to mention. It's definitely one that stands out from the rest of the offline herd out there, and even though downloaded over 10 million times ever since last year, it's actually one of the lesser known games on the Play Store as a racing game. This is just superb in graphics, physics, story. I don't even know what the recent updates done with the game that people do complain about it a lot. Mine works fine, game's free, and it's playable online as well. Number 9, we have Breakfast, sitting on the Google Play as of November last year, one of the biggest racing next level experiences on the Play Store, albeit not so much of a free game. So guys, Breakfast is in fact the #1 sold racing game on the Play Store for the past couple of months. It's just jam-packed with content, customization options, and dedication in visuals, controls, and quests. Check it out in case you missed it. The game's taking you down for about $10 though. It's time that we man up. Coming up behind that, we've got over here Ace Racer. That's just sitting on tap only since a few days ago. Actually, this game came out on the Play Store in a few different links. All links were taken down and apparently dealing with some copyright stuff. What you want to do is to use the links down in the description. They work. This game is a realistic, casual, luxury car racing sim that takes hints from games like Need for Speed, Forza Horizon, and is playable only online. Moving on. Coming up behind that from roughly 2 months ago, we've got Racing Master by the one and only developers NetEase, sitting on the Play Store with almost 100,000 downloads and a 4.8 out of 10. Racing Master is a real-time sim racer with some legitimate next-generation physics engine, featuring north of 100 based on real-world cars and tracks from all over the world. Game's all the way free, and this is how it really looks. Moving on, we've got actually one of the much awaited futuristic multiplayer racing games by the same developers of Mr. Racer with over 10 million downloads on the Play Store here, called Radix Racing Metaverse. Just a very smooth combination of the game's Burnout, Need for Speed, and the added ingredient of metaverse-based aesthetic. Game's playable online only, this is how it works, and it's for some reason taking you down for only 70 megabytes of space. Initially though, game's all the way free. Moving on with a 4.6 out of 5 and over 1 million downloads already. We've got over here once again Car Driving Online. Not exactly an online game though entirely. You can actually play this one offline in portions. And for a semi-open world mission-based racing/driving game, it's actually one of the most realistic physics and graphics out there it's actually all the way free as well. That's how it really looks. Game's taking you down for 700 megabytes of space, and it has a multiplayer option as well. Moving on with over 100,000 downloads and on the Android devices only. We've got a free-to-play, mostly drift racing game that just came out going by the name Race Max Pro. I mean, a month ago technically. Graphically, this game is on a whole other level in terms of actual gameplay. It's really fine-tuned as well. Almost console quality, if I had to say so myself. It works great with a controller. It's got tons of content and different mods to choose from. From roughly half a year ago, on the other hand, we've got Sim San Andreas. I've actually mentioned this one a lot before. This is technically a driving sim and a racing game to some extent, with a decent amount of content for the type just considering. As I'm assuming you'd have guessed, the game is, as the title suggests, takes place in San Andreas. It's pretty much a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, except you can't really leave the car, but you get to drive a very diverse pool of really visually advanced cars and some really good controls to have fun with. In any case, this is in-game footage. Game takes you for about 300 megabytes of space. It's free. Next up, it is finally the official release of Cork Street. This is an open world mission based online racing game that's now sitting on the Play Store with almost 500,000 downloads and taking you down more than any other game in the list, which is 1.6 gigabytes of space. Here's a couple of problems though, in case you're wondering. First is the storage requirement that I mentioned. The second is that the game is still in its kind of beta phase, taking notes and not entirely functional on all devices, and it does occasionally crash at the beginning. Other than that, game's perfect. Moving on, we've got over here for those of you platformer enthusiasts, something called Meta Race. I'm not gonna lie, this was an instant pick for myself once it came out on the Play Store. That's just technically 2 weeks ago. Well, sadly the game's downloaded only 1,000 times, hitting 10 maybe in about a couple of days. It's playable both online and offline. The multiplayer is actually the fun part. It's smooth, generous, and got a pretty cute little pool of cars to pick. Check it out. Sitting on the Play Store with over 10,000 downloads already since only 72 hours ago, which is kind of crazy for this specific genre we're looking at here. We got something called Wars Drift. As suggested by the title, this is actually a drift and chasing game, and a top-down and format, pretty much inspired by Need for Speed and Circuit Superstars, just throw in a little bit of Cork Street, and this is what you get. Game's free, technically speaking, the smoothest in the list as well. Moving on at number 19, just a quick mention over here, we have Car Crash Sim 666, downloaded over 5,000 times since the past couple of weeks and taking you down for 200 megabytes of space as well. Nothing special going on here except this game's got a pretty good ragdoll and car physics, is free all the way, and this is just how it really looks. Moving on. And last but not least, one bit, we've got over here Car Crash Stunts Master. I had to include a stunt game here today, but if I had to be quite frank, this is actually the best stunt game you can have hands on for free out there on the Play Store. Just takes every Spider-Man / superhero luxury car, F1 formula, or whatever you get in those stunt games out there that's been coming out for the past few years, remove anything annoying about any of those, and you get this. Check it out. In case you missed it, the game's very, very fun to play.